I will simply not be corrupted by the ancient and evil magic. I know all of those other guys were, but I'm different. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank. You are having a great day, and in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about Yu-Gi-Oh! That's right, it's been a while since we've had an actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Conversation here on the channel, and in today's video, I'm here to ask a question. Where are all the scalpers at for Yu-Gi-Oh! You see, I was looking over through some of the prices for recent Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster boxes. Burst Protocol has been out for a bit. I was curious how the set was doing because I do know that it's a very playable set. Plenty of really good cards in there. There's the Ecclesia, the Fallen, the Forbidden card. Elf Notes, I think, had some cool stuff in there. But besides the fact, I wanted to just see how the box was doing, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that booster boxes for Boost Protocol were not $30. That's crazy, right? For you know, if you're unaware, most Yu-Gi-Oh! Boxes in the last 2 years, if they weren't a rarity collection, they would come out and have some interest as the cards got bought up, but most of them would just fall down to 30 to 40 bucks. Which is always unfortunate, especially if you're a store getting it right from distribution, because that means most of the time you are losing money on your boxes. Now, that is unfortunate, but that is just how the market works. Here we have Burst Protocol coming out, and sure, it is under MSRP, but it hasn't collapsed like other sets have. And of course, this is a yet. It is a tentative yet. It is, what, a week or so after release, and there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of demand, there's, like I said, plenty of playable cards that does seem people are genuinely interested in getting. So it has a lot going for it. But with all that out of the way, it does look like the set is doing pretty good. But it's not doing amazing. It's not coming out and being twice or more MSRP out the gate. We don't have people lining up at big box retailer stores or buying out online stores or getting in fights in Costco parking lots over Yu-Gi-Oh! Product. And that's interesting because not too long ago, remember, it was announced that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is saved! Konami has turned the ship around. We are finally getting the extended art cards that Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans have been begging for years now, which do seem to be very beautiful, very desirable, very collectible, with some of these cards looking really nice, and a lot of people, myself included, expressing a lot of optimism for where this could take Yu-Gi-Oh! In the future. And with that said, you would think that on the cusp of that news, a lot of people in the Poke Bro, Sneaker Bro community, a lot of those types of people, you'd think that they would be rushing right now to get a hold of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Product they could, just to kind of get a head start on the wicked gains that are surely right around the corner. And yeah, it's true. Burst Protocol, for instance, is doing pretty solidly right now. $60-something a box is not bad for a modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Product. But especially when you compare it to things like One Piece, where the newest One Piece set is a $400 box. Pokemon, where it frequently goes above $200. Magic the Gathering, where collector booster boxes at $400, $330 are considered a failure. You gotta kind of wonder why people, even the people who are ostensibly the most likely to just buy everything up when they smell a chance of profit, why are they turning their noses up at Yu-Gi-Oh! In general? Now, obviously, the easy answer is twofold. One, Burst Protocol is not the set with the fancy, shiny, alt extended art cards. Obviously, that is definitely a factor. It does still have very desirable, very playable cards that I think in the last few days have genuinely proven themselves in a tournament setting, which is, I suppose, a conversation for another day. I don't really want to talk about meta games because I'm never good at it. But beyond that, it does have, the genuinely collectible Starlight Rare cards that people are always interested in, playable cards, etc. And more to the point, in addition to not being the set that has the full art cards, Burst Protocol is still a modern Yu-Gi-Oh set with everything that entails. It still has abysmal pull rates. It's a very small set size. And there is still, I think, a lack of interest in trusting Konami from the more ingrained members of the TCG community. Konami of America has consistently over the last 10 years shown a willingness to absolutely destroy the value of their own product. And a lot of people, especially a lot of people who are spending a lot of money on this game, are very aware of that fact. They're very confident in the fact. So when I half jokingly ask, well, where is all the money at? Where are all the people scalping the hell out of Yu-Gi-Oh? Where are they all at? Keep in mind that it is being said as half a joke because, yes, a few weeks ago there were people talking about how, Yu-Gi-Oh is going to get bought up, the scalpers are going to move in and all that jazz, but in reality, until Rarity Collection 5 actually releases in a month or so, and we actually see the effects of extended art cards on the English game, it's hard to say whether or not the scalpers are actually even going to move in and start buying Yu-Gi-Oh up. Because now we have confirmation that it's not just Rarity Collection 5. It's going to be more Yu-Gi-Oh sets going forward. Rarity Collection 5 is just going to be the start. And in addition to the fact that it's not going to be just one set, there's also some worrisome things such as Dragon Master Magia's reprint in one of the upcoming sets, which has drawn some ire from the more collector-minded individuals, because this is yet another example of Konami reprinting a card in the newest special high rarity, making the previous special high rarity seem less desirable, it has been a consistent problem with them. And it just goes to show that, yeah, Konami is consistently willing to kind of shoot their own collectability in the foot. And I think a lot of people are aware of that. So when people genuinely ask, well, why isn't Yu-Gi-Oh being scalped? There's many reasons. One, there is still a stigma towards the game. Two, Konami has clearly not learned their lesson. And three, the overall desirability of the overall faith in the game is kind of at a low. Now, that again, it's in part due to those two other factors, but in part it's also due to, well, so many other things kind of drawing attention. We've talked before on the channel about how there's only so much time, effort, and money that you can put into the things you enjoy. Well, right now, One Piece is doing gangbusters. Pokemon is doing gangbusters. Magic is doing gangbusters. And will continue to do so. I think all three of those games are going to do really well in the future. And then we have other games, smaller games. Weiss Schwarz from time to time still has amazing knockout sets. Digimon from time to time has amazing knockout sets with really collectible cards. Those textured foils, I was not aware of how expensive those could really get. I was made aware of that the other day. Holy crap, some Digimon cards got really expensive in a very small amount of time. And even Gundam is making a turnaround and starting to gain in price. And smaller games are getting some dedicated fans. So in a TCG landscape full of so much hype, so much really expectations of desirability, demand, value, and all that jazz, Yu-Gi-Oh, which has continued to underperform for 2 years now, still has that stigma of being an underperformer. And I think the Scalper Bros, or the potential future Scalper Bros, are looking at Yu-Gi-Oh right now with kind of bated breath, waiting to see whether or not it is definitely going to be the thing to buy in on. So no, I'm not actually surprised that Burst Protocol is not a $200 box. It's not a serious position there. But I am curious to see when Rarity Collection 5 drops, is the market going to pay attention to that? Or is the wider market going to cause that box to skyrocket? Is it going to get bought out? And is that going to be the actual turning point for Yu-Gi-Oh? Or what I think is going to happen. Will it be another set that has the new, shiny, most amazing rarity ever, and the wider TCG market just continues to move on without it? Sure, Yu-Gi-Oh collectors, Yu-Gi-Oh investors, Yu-Gi-Oh players, they're going to be really excited about this set, make no mistake. Full art cards in Yu-Gi-Oh is a very, very big deal. I cannot stress that enough. It's something that the community at large has wanted for a very long time. But with so much pessimism around Yu-Gi-Oh for years, and basically surrounding every new set that's come out that wasn't named Rarity Collection, I do have faith that Rarity Collection 5 will be a smash run, home run success. But I'm skeptical at this moment of it coming out and being... I don't think it's going to pull a One Piece Heroines situation where it's going to be pre-ordering for $400, $500, $600. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to pull a Pokemon and come out and immediately be a $300 box. Crazy stuff. I do think that the Yu-Gi-Oh fans are going to be super into it. I do think Yu-Gi-Oh fans are going to want to hold on to this. It's the first full art set in the game's history. It's got some really cool art for some really cool, memorable cards. So I think that it is going to go down in history as a smashing success. But some people who are expressing fear that it's going to be the turning point for Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's going to make Yu-Gi-Oh! Unaffordable, I don't think that's what's going to happen. That is my opinion. And I could very well be wrong. But at the moment, I don't think fear-mongering about unavailability of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a good use of anyone's time. Instead, we could be looking forward to just the fact that looks like sets going forward are going to have full art cards. We're still not sure what the pull rates are going to be. We're still not entirely sure what the entire lineup is going to be. But it does raise some interesting hopes that if Konami can get their head out their ass when it comes to the reprint policies, when it comes to reprinting cards into every new rarity ever, it does raise the hope that things can turn around. Maybe a year from now, if Rarity Collection 5 paves the way and then every set after that does well for a bit, it could lead to a situation where the Scalper Bros move in and then suddenly a year from now we're making a video going, shit, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is unaffordable. But I don't think at present it's going to have to happen because, one, like I said, super low optimism about Yu-Gi-Oh! Two, when a lot of these people, a lot of these get money now quick, get rich quick types move into a TCG, they do it after a lot of the success has already happened. We've seen this before with Pokemon, with One Piece. A lot of the people who are going to Target at 3 o'clock in the morning to hound restocks, these people were not interested in One Piece when the news of how good the game was making rounds. They weren't interested in Pokemon when the new set dropped and the new borders were there and the new special illustration mirrors were looking so good. They didn't care. They cared 6 months later when things were already popping off. They cared 9 months later when the cards were making the rounds on Reddit and such. When people were saying, oh, this is the best investment ever, after a lot of the money has already been made. And I think that if it happens for Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's going to be the same thing, where, if people move on Yu-Gi-Oh!, then it's going to be kind of following this steam engine rather than running in front of it, But maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I have been wrong on many things before. I've been terribly wrong on many things before. Why do I give you guys my opinions? I'm wrong about all kinds of crap. But, I don't know. I suppose the whole ethic of this video is calm down. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is clearly not exploding. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not becoming unaffordable. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Boxes aren't becoming unaffordable. Playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is crazy. Fallen of the White Dragon's like $80 or something. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, but that is... it's too much money for a playset, in my opinion. But I suppose I'll leave it at that. This is not me complaining about the Yu-Gi-Oh meta or anything like that. It's just me saying, hey, I don't think that there's anything to worry about right now. That could change in the future. It could change in the future. But right now, I don't think we should be worrying about what could be happening 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 3 months from now with Rarity Collection 5. I think optimism and the hope that Konami turns the ship around and makes these full art cards actually desirable and collectible, I think that's the right approach. And hoping for the best is better than fearing the worst. I'm not saying you shouldn't be prepared for the worst, but you should try to be optimistic for a bit, especially when it comes to just the hobbies you enjoy. Anyway, that's all I got. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of people out there who disagree with me, and I'm going to be honest. You're right to do so. Disagreement is the core of discourse, after all. Anyway, check out the Discord, the Patreon, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Ciao.